What got you to the 2001 Mr. Olympia?
I would actually like to say rather something else if you let me talk, okay?
Please.
Okay, I can start talking?
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
No,
can you tell me what it's about?
No, it sounds good, believe me.
Who's your hero in bodybuilding? Who do you admire the most?
I don't admire anyone.
That's the Nasser I know. Who do you admire in bodybuilding? I don't admire anyone. Because he didn't. He thought he was better than everyone.
The biggest bodybuilder to ever live in the bodybuilding history. He was so big even the judges seemed to disqualify him due to his unfair massive size he had amongst other bodybuilders, shockingly overpowering the legends of bodybuilding like Ronnie and Dorian, known for his brutal exposure to the secrets of synthol use amongst bodybuilders like Jay Cutler and many more. Introducing the man who had the biggest robbery in bodybuilding history, Nasser Sonbati.
A lot of people who are not too familiar with bodybuilding, most people aren't. They ask me, so you're a bodybuilder? I said yes. And then they ask me, so are you working besides that? Do you have a job? But these people don't understand. To be on the level where I am right now, in the other top 15 in the world, you have to do it full professionally, and I'm a professional since 1990, and full professionally I do it since 94.
Nasser Sonbati, born in 1965 and raised in Germany as a kid, Nasser had always dreamt of being an iconic figure in bodybuilding. In Germany, Nasser had went to university to study for history, political science, and sociology, which later contributed to his intelligence in bodybuilding and later earning him the name the Professor of Bodybuilding. In 1983, Nasser had began his bodybuilding journey, competing in his first show in 1985 in a local bodybuilding show in Germany where he placed 6th place. But the question is, what made Nasser Sonbati a massive threat to bodybuilding industry at that time? Nasser Sonbati was a very smart individual and had driven passion and discipline for the sport of bodybuilding, making vows that he shall never miss a gym session despite the hardships he faced outside the gym. For example, going through a heartbreak.
If it's rainy, if it's cold, if your girlfriend broke up with you or if your boyfriend broke up with you, you have to go to the gym. Otherwise, there are no results coming.
His highly driven passion for the sport and proper implementation of science-based lifting pushed him far to become one of the most feared bodybuilders at that time. But what really set Nasser far from the passion and correct training was his attitude towards the bodybuilding sport.
What got you into bodybuilding?
Take your piece of paper.
Do you want to hold it?
Oh, believe me, what got me in bodybuilding is it takes too much time. I think it's totally unimportant.
With Nasser having the brains and intelligence that gave him the upper hand to study and pick out key secrets of the bodybuilding industry. Nasser's attitude was very straightforward and way too revealing, exposing the corruption of bodybuilding judges and the political side of the IFBB. But what truly made Nasser have a lot of backlash was his exposure of the use of synthol use in bodybuilders.
Use of synthol. Guys, I can only tell you out of personal experience, I know a lot of people who are even doing the so-called Mr. San Diego contest, which is the little contest compared to any kind of national NPC show or any kind of pro shows. I would say 95% of all athletes in the amateur and pro ranks are using synthol nowadays. There are even people in the judging panel, judges who are using synthol, and even judges who have silicone casts sitting in the judging panel, and they're accusing other athletes of doing this or that. And this is a terrible thing from my point of view.
Well, Master, I may have missed it in that response, but are you saying you have experienced and used synthol, or you have not?
Bob, I would like to give you a general answer. Let's put it this way. I don't know anybody who is in the sport involved who is more or less successful, even if it's again on a Mr. San Diego level or Mr. West Palm Beach level, who did not experience synthol. So I would say synthol use is as common as using a toothpaste for most people in this world.
This secret was never known by the public that synthol was potentially used at a low dose by bodybuilders like Ronnie Coleman, Flex Wheeler, and Jay Cutler. Even though Nasser didn't necessarily point out the bodybuilders who use synthol, this was an eye-opening truth, as we all thought that synthol was only used by the late bodybuilder Rich Piana.
I have used synthol. I used it, probably 12 years ago, and I didn't like it. It blurred my muscles. It made my muscle look weird, and it was incredibly painful. And it's very hard to train. You're almost guaranteed going to have to take some painkillers while you train because it's so painful. So the whole theory of synthol is you inject it in, it stretches the fascia tissue out, and therefore allows the muscle to grow at a faster rate. So that's the excuse of, I'm not cheating, I'm not using cosmetic enhancements, I'm doing this because it's going to make my muscles grow faster. But that's all false. It doesn't do that. And a lot of people, what they don't understand is that when you're injecting oil in your muscle, that oil is blocking the blood flow and the oxygen flow to the muscles. So your muscles are fed and they need to breathe.
Nasser Sonbati had soon shocked the world at the 1996 Mr. Olympia, when he stood between Ronnie Coleman and Dorian Yates and made both of the bodybuilders look incredibly small, tiny. Nasser had placed third place of the day, but the crowd knew that Nasser was the biggest out of all the bodybuilders that day. But the judges weren't too sure to land Nasser the Olympia due to his unrespectful manners to the public and interviewers. But Nasser knew the truth, and he knew that he shall have the biggest comeback in bodybuilding history. In the 1997 Mr. Olympia would be the year Nasser would experience his biggest robbery of his entire life. Nasser would show up with the best conditioning and the most fullest muscles, standing out amongst all the bodybuilders that day. But the only obstacle he had to face was the 5th time Mr. Olympia, Dorian Yates. This would be a good day for Nasser, as Dorian Yates had showed up to the Olympia looking absolutely horrible, bro. Bro was so out of shape. He had a torn bicep, he had a torn tricep. This guy was just absolutely brutalized. And Nasser Sonbati powered Dorian Yates with poses like the front double biceps. As you can see that Dorian Yates' biceps are just completely flat. They just so deflated. There's just nothing there. And Nasser Sonbati most definitely knew that he shall take the Mr. Olympia home. But sadly, Dorian Yates had won its 6th time Mr. Olympia. This was completely unfair because Nasser Sonbati was clearly full condition but was beaten with somebody that had an injured tricep, an injured bicep, just out of shape, a whole bubble gut, bro, but still beaten. But Nasser Sonbati knew that this was due to corruption, and this was due to the judges not liking Nasser Sonbati's attitude and persona he had towards the bodybuilding industry. And he knew that Dorian Yates was lucky to win this because of the connections he had with the judges, as he knew that judges usually place certain bodybuilders at a certain rank due to the connections they have with them.
Wasn't an NPC athlete, Dorian wasn't either, but at least he had a good connection to a lot of NPC people, and which are also major people in the IFBB, so it works always good out if you know people and you talk to people and you invite people to your house and make your phone calls. And I was never one of these guys who did that, and I didn't do it today. I don't have a problem to call anybody up of these people in the hierarchy, but I'm not calling them intentionally up to place higher or to play games. And at that time I was also pretty freaky compared to the other guys. A lot of smaller people would have thought they won't have a chance to come up in the higher hierarchy of pro placements. But then I thought maybe I will win next year, but next year I didn't win either.
Nasser was really never the same after that. He looked great in the '98 Olympia when Ronnie and was first and won his first Olympia, and then Flex was second. He was third, Nasser, and he looked great there too. But he just couldn't beat these genetic freaks. It was an era of, like, you know, shape, symmetry, and size.
Nasser Sonbati has sadly passed away in 2013 in Egypt due to a kidney failure and a heart disease. His legacy still lives as the professor of the bodybuilding. Either ways, the video's down here. Make sure y'all comment if you think Dorian Yates actually deserved to win a Mr. Olympia in the 1997 Mr. Olympia. Subscribe, join the army, let's grow, let's get jacked, let's become sick cunts.
Let's these cunts do. That's what the revolution is, bro. None of these fucking sad cunts. We're all gonna fucking make it, bro. That's it.
Bye, have a great time.